A Terminal Christmas is the 11th episode of the second season of Wings, and as always, there will be spoilers as I discuss what happens in this one. And this is one of the episodes that I remembered really well. As I've mentioned before, I watched Wings previously in around about 2021, and I decided to go back, rewatch it, and review each episode. And thankfully, because my memory is terrible, a lot of the episodes I don't remember in a lot of detail, but every now and then I'll come across an episode that really stuck in my mind. And A Terminal Christmas is absolutely one of those episodes, and rightly so. So there will be spoilers from now as I discuss what happens. And it starts off establishing that this is a Christmas episode. We have some Christmas decorations in the airport. It's not over the top, but there's enough there that it's definitely Christmas themed. A lot of the characters are wearing red clothing. We definitely have a lot of Christmas vibes. The intro is a little bit awkward, as Faye is telling somebody they can't get on the plane with what we establish as a brand new golf bag. And the plane is fully booked, so they can't book a seat for it, so they have to take it off him and confiscate it, which seems a little harsh. They go into the back room. There are a lot of other wrapped gifts. Visually looks brilliant, but not exactly the most reassuring. Then everybody starts talking about what they're doing for Christmas. Brian wants Christmas Day off, but they're the only flight that's flying out to New Bedford, so they have to keep the airport open in case somebody wants to go to New Bedford on Christmas Day. And everybody's talking about their own plans. But things don't go according to anybody's plans. Lowell's wife kicked him off the boat on Christmas Eve. Helen's mother can't come because a camel fell on her at the local Christmas pageant. Roy's son has other plans, and the passenger cancelled their Christmas Day flight. So nobody has anything to do. Brian and Joe were going to go skiing. They can't go there because of the bad weather. So they decide to go to Faye's house because Faye had been telling them that she was having a party, and they were invited, but because they all had other plans, of course, nobody was going. So they go to Faye's house, and I definitely think this was unexpected because they approach Faye's house, they go inside, it's in darkness, nobody else is there, just Faye, and we learn that the party was not happening. And this is where it gets quite emotional. Faye wasn't feeling the Christmas spirit. And this is her first Christmas since George died. And it's very difficult. It's a very difficult time for her. So everybody is there trying to cheer her up. They have a festive-less Christmas dinner. There's not a lot of classic festivities about it, but nevertheless, they're doing the best with what they can. There's a little bit of comedy. Lowell is singing songs, but with the incorrect lyrics, Christmas songs, of course. And that's nice. We do have some lightheartedness, but I do feel like it's quite a heavy episode. Faye hasn't changed anything since George died. And his ashes are in what Lowell thought was a cookie jar. It's a teddy bear-shaped jar, but that's actually his ashes. And she's not been able to bring herself to scatter his ashes as he would have wanted. So they decide now is the time. And Faye is kind of not keen on the idea, but she goes along with it, realizing that at some point this is something she's going to have to do. So she does, and they all go up in the plane, and I was keeping it together until she said, I can't do it. I can't let George go. And it broke me at that point. And Roy, much to his credit, said he knew what she was going through. He'd recently lost his wife and gave her some kind words. And then Lowell went to get the ashes and kind of dropped them. And thankfully, Joe kept a dustbuster on the plane, so they were able to dustbust the ashes up, and ultimately Faye throws the dustbuster into the sea, and it's very moving and very, very, very emotional. And then we end on a bit of comedy. As Faye was saying, she just doesn't know if she did the right thing. And then Frank comes in and reveals that something came out of the sky and went through his boat in the middle of a competition. And of course, it's the dustbuster. And Faye took that as a positive sign of something funny happening out of an emotional situation. And she says thank you to George and Merry Christmas. And it's beautiful. And it's very well done. And I think the comedy is definitely as strong as it needed to be to keep things lighthearted every now and then, but it's definitely one of the heavier episodes, but very moving, very sweet, and ultimately one that I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It doesn't surprise me that I remembered pretty much everything. I didn't remember every aspect of the episode, but a good chunk of it, and I found it to be very sweet. A Terminal Christmas is pretty brilliant.